What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Real special guest. We have Mauricio Herrera. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all good. Thanks
Good.
for having me.
No problem. I definitely wanted to talk to you. The fans have been asking about you since the Danny Garcia performance. Before I get into the fight, I wanted to ask you this. How did the Danny Garcia fight come about? Some people felt Kareem Mayfield should have been in line for the Garcia fight since he beat you in a 12-round decision and called Garcia out. So, what are your thoughts on that, and how were you presented with this fight?
Well, everybody calls Danny Garcia out. We called him out a while back too. I mean, we even had a fight. They offered us a fight for a little bit of money and time with him before this. But I feel I fought Provocative. I fought much tougher guys, before Mayfield did. I think I was Mayfield's toughest fight, and even that fight was close, and I thought I won that one. But the way this fight came about was we were signed with Thompson Promotions, and they got a Provodnikov with my co-bro. They were giving us tough fights, and I was getting bad in the deal with some of these fights for my promotion, and just treating us kind of bad. It was no money, and it was all tough fights. So our contract was ending already, and then it was ending in November, and so we were trying to look for a new promoter, and Golden Boy and all them. We were trying to get up to them, and we were going to re-sign with Thompson because Golden Boy never got back to us. But the day before we were going to re-sign, Golden Boy gave us a call and asked us what it is that we wanted in order to sign with them because we didn't like what they offered. So then Golden Boy came back with, how about if we give you a Danny Garcia fight, then would you sign? So they said we've been looking at you before, and we know you're tough provocative, we know you're a tough fighter, and we think that would be a great thing. So we jumped on it. We said, yeah, we think Danny is a perfect fight for us. So that's how that all came about. And then we signed with Golden Boy almost same day we signed with to fight Danny Garcia, and that's how it all kind of just happened.
All right, perfect. I did not know that. And do you think Danny Garcia underestimated you? He kind of bought into his own hype since everything's been full speed ahead for him after the Morales and Khan victories, and the fight was taking place in Puerto Rico. Do you think he kind of underestimated you totally?
I don't know if he did. There's shame on him, but it's kind of hard to say because I know, it was a big homecoming thing for him for Puerto Rico. So I don't know why he would, want to slack off for that. I would think he would get up for that fight, too, because they're making a big deal for him. But I don't know. But I think whether he was in shape or not, I think his style, my style was just meant to give him problems. And I think it was even if he wasn't in shape and was to get in shape, I think the fight would have gone the same way. I think he just couldn't find me that night. If he was good, cheap, or bad, I think that's. I saw Danny still with good power. He was find a way I knew he would fight. And I think he was just puzzled that night. And if he did not train for me, then that's bad on him.
All right. And March 15th, you made a lot of people into believers and proved a lot of doubters wrong. Me personally, I had predicted Garcia to beat you via a 12-round decision. I knew he wasn't going to stop you. Some fans were saying he was going to knock you out, but I thought you'd bring a good competitive effort and possibly lose a decision. I was totally wrong. And most fair boxing fans and critics, they don't even consider this an actual loss. I think you dominated the pace of the fight, made Garcia look like the challenger, and overall just put on a masterclass boxing clinic. So can you assess what you feel happened in that fight?
Yeah, exactly what you said. That's exactly how I seen it. That he felt like he was a challenger. I mean, I had him going back and uncomfortable. I felt that I'd start off first rounds being cautious, and I thought I was taking to him little by little. I was picking him apart and just frustrating him. Thinking it was taking everything out of him from the inside. His mind was just not there. I couldn't get past to what I was doing to him. I think it was a lot of things bothering him. I think like Paulie was saying, hitting everything right. It was all my, like I said too. It was all my timing and rhythm. I was just throwing him off, and then with jazz on top of it. And a lot of people don't forget that I'm not that easy to get hit. I know I've been in some tough fights and been bruised up, but if you really watch my fights careful, I'm a hard person to hit. So then he had trouble, hitting me, and I knew that was our game plan, was just do my fight how I normally fight, and then naturally you get frustrated. And we thought we were winning rounds like that, every round and getting more confident and better as the round went on. So I started pushing it even more. But one thing I didn't want to do was tangle with Danny. He is a stronger puncher. So we wanted to be smart and just box him. And I thought to the very end, I just pushed a little more. I found out he was getting tired and he was busted up. So we pushed a little harder and we thought we finished strong towards the end.
Well, I agree with you. I think you did. One thing I observed, I noticed you had a great defense and an excellent jab, and that really frustrated Garcia, and you even took away and nullified his infamous left hook. I think the jab is a very underappreciated punch, especially with younger fighters. So what made you decide to use your jab in the way you did?
Well, I've always used my jab in a lot of my fights, and I'm always just trying to just get that better, get it faster, harder, and just changing jab. I think in this fight, I started to throw a hard jab, power jabs. I like to have a changing jab and do different jabs. But in this fight, we were going with a hard jab, a hard stiff jab. My plan was to get him early. I wanted him to see his own blood early. I noticed in his other fights that he panics. When he bleeds. So that was my thing, was to hope bust him out with the jab and get some blood going. And good thing that it worked out just that way. He started seeing his own blood, and that just added to more of the confusion, state that he was at. But yeah, the jab is, I think, the most important thing in boxing. I always use it, and I always tell everybody the jab is the key. And a lot of players don't use, the jab. And you look back in the old days, the jab was used a lot. And then you can go to De La Hoya, used it a lot and had a lot of success. And every fighter with a jab had a lot of success. Even George Foreman says it, the jab is, the fight can be easy if you just jab the guy. And it's true. There's nobody uses it. I knew that a lot of fighters that are fighting today don't fight people that jab. So I always think I'm going in there with a little something extra, with a little old school, some hidden, and it's the jab. And it surprises a lot of them that I throw it so much, and I had pretty good power in it.
All right. And I just feel nowadays boxing seems to be bound by a lot of politics. We've seen controversial outcomes. Chavez Jr. versus Brian Vera won. George Grove is getting another crack at Carl Froch based on how that fight played out. And then recently, you and Danny Garcia. It seems that the quote-unquote losers of these fights, they're just gaining more fans based on the fashion in which they lose. And I think it benefits their career more than it does hurt. So what has your experience been since the Garcia fight and this quote-unquote loss to Garcia? How have fans embraced you and critics?
Oh, I think it was better to happen this way. It was just I'm getting just more people behind me than ever. They always say this is like a double win. It's always good. When the people know you won, and they just start talking more. Whenever there's a little controversy, I think it just hypes stuff up even more, and it gets out there even more. And if I were to beat Danny just on points, it wouldn't be. I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. Knowing that it went in this fashion, it got a lot of people's attention, and they people that didn't see it heard the controversy, so then they go back and watch it, so I think it made it that much bigger and had a lot of views, and I feel like the champ. I was down a little, when I watched it home by myself, but my phone just started blowing up, and I had to just all kinds of people messaging me, and then the family behind me, and then I got my wife behind me, and then Showtime, a commentator, seeing all that, really gave me a lot of positive, back inside me, because I was really down a couple of days.
I agree. And you guys did like 1.1 million views on TV, which is a good number, very solid number. And I just want to read you some quotes after the Garcia fight. Ruslan Provodnikov tweeted, "Herrera won the fight. He is champion today. Danny Garcia and his father should be man enough to admit when they lose." Also, Kareem Mayfield, he tweeted this. He said, "We all saw Danny Garcia lost tonight. So what's it like just getting such a positive reaction about your performance from past opponents that you've fought?"
Oh, I feel really good. I respect those guys. Ruslan and Mayfield, they're both tough guys. And yeah, I've seen those tweets, and yeah, I was happy. I was glad, that they were on my side and they were honest. I just wish, Danny would be honest, and his dad. They were always honest and truthful and loud about it before in every fight on what they think about fighters. And if you notice after this fight, they didn't say so much. Maybe they should get back and look at the tape and really be honest and come out with how they really feel about the fight. Even Danny's dad, when the press conference afterwards, said, "Yeah, he beat Danny, but you have to knock down the champ. You have to knock out the champ to win, not just beat Danny." To me, it's, you don't knock out everybody. Just said himself, oh, you don't just beat the champ. So me, said he knew I beat the champ, but I had to knock him down or knock him out, in Puerto Rico. So to me, that a little bit admitting that I did beat him, but I had to knock him down or knock him out. If I would have knocked him down, they would have said I had to knock him out. I had to knock him out. If I knocked him out, they would have said I had to kill him. I think they're just looking for something to get, just to get out of it, and just hope they're honest and know that if the people ask for it and they see them, how much attention it's getting, it would be good to get another rematch, give the people another great show and unfinished business type stuff. If he wants to stay at 140.
What's Ruslan's punching power like?
He's up there. It's just, he's probably the hardest hitter I've faced.